Hey everyone, it's Mike from Orderflows here, and welcome back to my channel. I'm glad you could join me for today's video, where I'm going to talk a bit more about the NinjaTrader Volumetric Footprint Chart and a little bit about one of their order flow tools that they have there. Now, before we jump in, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you don't miss any new upload. And if you find today's video helpful, be sure to hit the like button for me and leave a comment sharing your biggest takeaway. I love hearing your feedback. Actually, this video is the result of a comment from a user commenting on kind of an oversight that I did on the footprint chart. I was sort of knocking the volumetric chart from NinjaTrader. Sorry, I get those two mixed up quite a bit. Because I was saying, there's no way to see the, let me get a crosshairs on here, no way to see the point of control on the chart, okay? Because, I'm so used to looking at a footprint and seeing, basically a box around the point of control, right? Which is the price level with the most volume in the bar, okay? And on the volumetric chart, where I sort of got, I guess, confused or overlooked it is, I'm looking at the show maximum, right? If you have show maximum enabled, okay, right, it's enabled, it will highlight it as yellow. It'll highlight the volumes as yellow in the footprint. And, that's going to be a problem if you have an imbalance or something else that you want to look at. And actually, what this gracious user, Camper Van Seth, credit to you. He said, hit the show volume in the data series, for God's sakes, man. And if you do that, let me just get it up here. It will actually print a profile next to the bar. So you got to scroll down in here. Show, where's it? Show volume right here. So under chart style, it's about one, volumetric, blah, blah, blah. You get down to show volume, about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 choice. And it's going to put the little volume profile on the side of the bar. And the yellow level is the point of control in that bar. Okay, so that's a way to do it. But do keep in mind, if you do not, I'm so used to looking at under an indicator, not the data series. If you have the, for any reason, I don't know why you would not have it on, not enable it, but if you hit disable show maximum, right, it's not going to print the maximum volume in the bar, right, the point of control, as yellow. Okay, it's just going to be your normal color of the volume in the footprint. It's going to be your normal sort of little volume profile on the side of the bar. Then you'd have to sort of guess, is this one more than this one? But again, shout out to our user Camper Van Seth by saying hit the show volume button here, and you got to have the maximum on there. Where is it? Here it is, show maximum. And again, you can change the color to whatever color you want. Default is yellow. Okay, so there you go. Thanks again. I mean, that's why I say, guys, be sure to put your comments below, because again, I use my own Orderflow Trader software. I don't use, even though I have the paid version of NinjaTrader, I don't use their volumetric chart. Now, there is some useful things in the paid version of NinjaTrader, right? The fully paid version, in their order flow suite. So what you can do is you scroll down, and you have cumulative delta, market depth, trade detector, order flow volume profile, and order flow VWAP. Okay. Now, again, I don't use the market depth. I don't use any of these actually, but the market depth, as far as I know, again, if I'm wrong, just mention it in the comment. I believe you do have, it's one of those tools where you have to have the software running. I don't know if it really works on the historical data. Well, let's try it. Let me just open a brand new chart here. To the best of my knowledge, okay, and again, I'm not a regular user of the market depth map here, but we'll just put up a 1 minute, make that tick replay, hit OK. And then I'm going to add, and again, if some of you guys use this and you can do it with historical depth, let me know, because you know, I did have a few users asking about it. I don't see it on there. Maybe you'd have to run it in tick replay, but as far as you know, opening up a chart and having it appear on there, I believe you'd have to, it will start plotting the depth from the time that you open your chart. Okay, and again, maybe if you're running it in market replay to watch the depth, you know, after the market's closed, you can do that. But you know, the other tool that I want to talk about that they have on here, which is useful for a lot of traders, and it is called, let me just take this one off, the cumulative delta. Okay, now what that's going to do, right, it's going to plot at the bottom of your chart, you know, the delta in a candlestick form. Okay, now this is the cumulative delta, so it's showing you out, you know, throughout the day. You know, there's going to be a zero line somewhere up here. I wish they would draw a zero line. Maybe, again, you know, as far as I know, I don't know if they have a function in the setting to draw the zero line. I haven't seen it, but you got two choices: session delta, which would be basically your cumulative delta, or on a bar by bar basis. Okay, now this is how it looks on a bar by bar basis. Okay, and there's certain patterns in here. You know, I talked about the delta reversal, and you know, sort of opportunities like that. And what you could do, you know, sometimes people think, oh, I can only have one or the other, is you should be able to add another one. You just click on it again here, so you see it down here. So say I want the session and the bar, right? You're going to click on a new panel. So you're going to have both. Okay, and again, it's a simple thing. Sometimes, you know, people are a little confused on, oh, I can only have one or the other. No, you could have two. You just got to, when you add it under the indicator setting, just make sure panel, because now it says 2 and 3, right? The main chart up here is panel, right? So this is panel 1, this is panel 2, this is panel 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now, when you add it, just make sure you hit, well, you're going to have a choice. I believe it says new panel on there. Let's go down. Right, new panel, right? You see it there. But that way, you know, you could have both a bar by bar basis of delta and cumulative delta. Okay, now I'm not going to get into the, you know, there's a lot of patterns you can see in cumulative delta. There's a lot of patterns you can see in bar by bar delta, and it's quite you know, it's quite interesting. You know, it's you know, it's like, for example, let's just expand this up, because, you know, I've been making some videos on delta recently. You know, it's funny, people say, well, you don't treat strategies, you know, you just show people what happened. Well, yeah, I'm showing you what happened so that you can build your own strategy by taking what happens in the market. It's not about me saying this is how you're supposed to trade and that's it. No, you know, like, for example, here on the cumulative delta, you see delta going down, 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 and then it starts turning going up. Whereas on a bar by bar delta, even though delta, you know, is still negative, it's actually going up, right? In a sense that it's strong, a little less strong, a little less strong, and then obviously positive. On here, you're sort of seeing the same thing going on in terms of the candle size, but it's getting weaker as it's going down into this low, as opposed to, you know, a low where you get the strong delta here, right? Remember, over here you got this big delta, big negative delta coming in here. So there are patterns that you can see either on a bar by bar basis like this that I like to look for, or even in the cumulative delta itself, right? I know people like to look for divergences in the cumulative delta. I know people like to look for delta, you know, divergences in the bar by bar delta. I did get a few questions, a few comments from users asking to make some videos on delta divergence. And, you know, honestly, there's for me, when I talk about delta divergence, I talk about a new or equal low with positive delta, or a new or equal high with negative delta. And some people, some traders see delta divergence on a bar by bar basis. So when I'm looking at it is, at new highs or new lows, whereas some traders will look at it on a bar by bar basis. And, for example, here, right, you got a green candle with negative delta, right? Green candle with negative delta. Technically, this is a bar delta divergence, right? Because normally on a green candle, you're going to have positive delta, right? Not negative delta. But there's a reason why you have that, right? There is some absorption going on in there because you have a strong passive bid in the market, right? Which if you have a strong passive bid in the market to absorb whatever aggressive selling is taking place in that bar, it's going to be bullish. Okay, so I guess there's three types of delta divergence. There's at the highs or lows, there's on a bar by bar basis, and there's even within the cumulative delta intraday. You're going to see, divergences take place in the deltas, right? I mean, people say, well, here's, we got price going lower, but is delta going lower? Yeah, I guess so here, but what about here? This one's probably lower. Prices, but anyway, you get the gist of it. So there's a lot of ways you could use delta in your trading. Don't think that just because I talk about one way to use delta that's the only way. Delta is, basically what delta is. It's data, right? And what makes delta unique is it's not dependent on price movement. It's dependent on aggressive trading that's taking place. So it gives you a sort of an extra insight into what's taking place, in the market. All right. So anytime you could have insight into the market that maybe not a lot of other traders have, do you think that's going to give you an edge? I think it does. We could argue that it does, that it doesn't. It's irrelevant. It's just the same as, I worked at commodity trading firms, and, we have the data that nobody else has, right? I worked at Cargill. We know basically how much corn is planted in areas because, we're on the ground talking to the farmers. That gives, some of these commodity trading firms an edge over regular traders that don't have access to that are relying on the government data. So, anytime you could have access to data that maybe not a lot of people have, because again, not a lot of people use order flow and look at the delta, then in my opinion, it's just going to give you an advantage over other traders. But anyway, I mean, that's what makes the market, right? Is differences of opinions. So anyway, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Be sure to leave your comments. Again, shout out to the guy, what was his name? Campervan Seth. Thanks for pointing that out. Again, I don't use that volumetric chart, but if you do, that's how you would get the point of control. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.